All right, what is up, you guys? Today, or tonight, I should say, because it's midnight, I'm going to be recapping Wildcard Weekend. Of course, it hasn't started, it hasn't finished yet, but I'm giving y'all a Saturday night recap, and we may have people joining in, we may not have people joining in, but I think, it'll be interesting to see who joins in. But I think what we have to start off with was a complete, utter domination from the Buffalo Bills, who really kind of passed the torch, right? They really just they took over. I think they took control of the AFC East division for the near future. And I'm gonna get Aqua in here. Um, Aqua, are you there? Can we hear your voice?
Sure.
Of course, I have the Joe Burrow jersey on, so I'm sure you love that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it was complete and utter dominance from the Buffalo Bills. I thought they really. Once the game started and Josh Allen made that insane throw to, I think it was Cole Beasley on the first drive. I don't remember perfectly. And then New England comes out. They actually look pretty decent. And then Mac Jones threw a pick. It was over. Like, that just told me the game would go as it did. I really kind of thought that once New England got in a hole in this game, and the reason why I thought this game would be close is because I thought it'd be close throughout, and that New England would still kind of be able to play their game, but they just couldn't. Right? They really struggled to get into the game plan they wanted to do because they got out to a deficit, right? And New England, they really have one way of winning. It's play through the run game, play through the defense, have Mac make a couple plays. And they couldn't do that tonight because Buffalo just abused their defense. Josh Allen was 21 for 25 for 308 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. That is 12.3 yards per attempt. He had a 158 passer rating. He was perfect in this game. There's nothing negative you can say about Josh Allen. And I think the thing here with him is he's just a special player. Like there are just throws he makes throughout a game that you can't teach. You can't really game plan against. You just kind of have to bake that in. And if you can hold him to a certain amount of points, I think you're doing pretty well. But what he's able to do with his feet and what he's able to do with his arm, and just overall be a playmaker. He's really improved his accuracy the last 2 years. Doesn't make a ton of poor decisions. Still has that in him. I just think Josh Allen is one of the best players in the NFL, really. I think, look, this season probably hasn't been as good as last season statistically, but he's really had to carry this team even more, I feel, and he's been able to do that. You look at the run game for Buffalo, Devin Singletary, 16 for 81, 5.1 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, ran the ball pretty well. Josh Allen, 6 carries for 66 yards, 11 yards per attempt. Very efficient, got a lot of crucial first downs with his legs. Isaiah McKenzie had three rushes for 29 yards, my boy out of Georgia. And they ran the ball for 174 yards and about 6 yards a carry. So Buffalo really ran the ball well. They were really efficient running the ball, and that has been something I flagged with the New England team is you can run on them. And once you're able to run on them, you can really have your way with the defense. We saw the Colts do it. We saw Buffalo kind of do it in the first game. We saw Miami do it. And we saw them do it today. Buffalo was dominant through the air, but they were also dominant on the ground, and I think that balanced attack really did help them. You look at the other side. You look at New England. Mac Jones, 24 of 38, 232 yards, 6.1 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, had a passer rating of 76. I don't think he was terrible in the game. I don't think it was his fault that they lost. But look, Mac Jones just not just not enough. It's just not enough for him, man. Like he didn't have a run game. He was in positions where he had to come back, and Mac Jones isn't a great deep passer. At least he isn't yet, and they don't have any of those guys. That's why I haven't taken the Patriots seriously as a true Super Bowl contender because they don't have receivers that can go downfield and separate and make these big explosive plays. I don't necessarily think it's Mac's fault. I think he's fine in the short intermediate ranges. But until they get him a deep threat, I don't think they're a Super Bowl team, no matter how good Mac Jones is. The rushing game, Damian Harris had 9 carries for 30 yards. Ramondre had 8 carries for 27 yards, both about 3.3 yards per attempt. Just a really bad run game from New England. Those guys combined for about 3.5 yards per carry. So, yeah, Mac Jones made a couple plays with his feet. Henry Bourne had a nice run there for 14 yards, but just overall not enough, not nearly enough. And they were in positions where they just needed to pass because they were down so big. In the receiving game, Bourne had 7 catches for 77 yards and 2 touchdowns. Decent game from him, but a lot of that was in garbage time. Nobody else for New England did anything. Hunter Henry had 1 big play, but that's it. For Buffalo, Dawson Knox, 5 catches, 89 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Stephon Diggs had a big play, 45 yards, 3 catches for 60 yards. Not his best game, but still a pretty good game. Isaiah McKenzie had 3 catches for 45 yards. His catches were impactful. Gabriel Davis had a touchdown. Emmanuel Sanders had a touchdown. Tommy Doyle had a touchdown. Beasley had a catch. Singletary had a couple of catches. Buffalo just they kind of spread the wealth, right? As I do my best to attempt at a left-handed throw. But they just spread the ball around. Allen didn't really zero in. He just kind of he just kind of he didn't really zero in on anyone, I guess is what I'm trying to say. He just kind of threw to his open, took what the defense gave him, and made a ton of big plays when they were there. But the Buffalo offensive line was great in run blocking and pass blocking. I think they've been getting better the last couple of weeks. And I thought the New England defensive line was sorry. I thought New England's defense was terrible tonight. And like they've been talked of as the best defense in the league. And I think part of that's been fair, but I think we've seen the last couple of weeks that you can really run the ball, and we saw Buffalo really throw the ball on them twice. And here's the thing. Buffalo's defense was impressive, I thought. Because holding a team under 20 in the playoffs, I think, is always impressive, no matter what. And New England couldn't run the ball. They couldn't throw the ball. They were just in bad situations, and I thought Buffalo's defense did a really good job. I think in this game, Buffalo proved they are significantly better. And I've been saying, if y'all are patrons and are listening to me over in Bill Beaver's Consensus, you would have heard me say Buffalo could have won the first game or the second game by more, and they probably should have won the first game had they converted one of those red zone opportunities. And that's true because Buffalo's been the better team in the matchups, and they've been just as good against everyone else. They've been just as good against everyone else. So, yeah. I think with Buffalo, they are just a contender. They're as big of a contender as anybody else is in the league. And I think they really proved that when they're playing at their peak, I guess you could say, they're as good as anybody in the league, right? They have all the talent. They are really good defensively, even without Tre'Davious White. They are very good offensively. They have arguably the best quarterback in the conference, and just they're a really well-coached team. They kick New England's ass all night long, and I think they are a very good team. I think the thing with New England, they're a good they're just a they're not ready. I don't think yet. I think yeah, it was a terrible loss, and I never really bought into them, but they're just not a they're not an elite team. They're not one until they can get a receiver. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts. Buffalo, we're probably going to see them play Kansas City. Um, New England, I don't know, man. I think going forward, they've got an interesting offseason. I think you gotta address that offensive line, or not the offensive line. You gotta address that defensive line. You gotta get some run stuffers in, and then you gotta get some receivers, right? And I think that'd be interesting. So Buffalo, I think they're an interesting matchup for Kansas City because they beat them the last time they played. They kind of dominated the game. Of course, the Chiefs are a very different team, but I think the Bills are a different team as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting. That's kind of my thoughts on that game. Now we're kind of shifting over to the Bengals Raiders game, which I'm sure Aqua is very excited for. All right, Bengals Raiders. This was the best game of the day by far. Bengals, I thought, were the better team. I picked Vegas because I thought they matched up well with them. And that kind of played out in a weird way because I thought Vegas had their opportunities, but I just kind of thought that Vegas really they got outplayed. Like I thought the Bengals were the better team. You look at the statistics here, and overall, I mean, it was pretty even. The Raiders did outgain them. The Raiders did have a higher yards per play. They had more first downs. They had a better rush average. They were just they did everything they statistically they won the game. But that's not how games are played some of the time. And sometimes the team that statistically outplayed you lost to you, right? Joe Burrow, I thought, was brilliant in the game. I don't think it was, as good as his Chiefs performance, but I thought it was up there. 24 of 34, 244 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, about a 7 yards per attempt, 110 rating. Didn't look like the playoffs phased him at all. Looked just as calm, just as collected, just as good as he has looked all season, which he's been one of the best players in the NFL this season. He's been up there for MVP and everything like that. Derek Carr, 29 of 54. They threw the ball 54 times, which I thought was a flaw. Like, I thought the Raiders, they were having a lot of success running the ball. Jace Jacobs had one of his better games, and they just kind of got away from it. And I thought they threw the ball too much. I didn't think they were very effective. 29 of 54 for 310 yards. That's about 5.7 per attempt. Touchdown and a pick, and his rating was about 69. Not a very good day for Carr, but I don't think he was bad. I thought he made a couple of plays that kind of kept him in it. Jacobs, 13 for 83, 6.4 yards per carry. Carr had a 20-yard run. Really, really good day of running the ball for the Raiders. I think that's a weakness. Playing the Titans, I think the Bengals are going to be able to run the ball on the Titans, or the Titans are going to be able to run the ball on the Bengals. I'm sorry, it's a late night, but yeah, I thought Vegas ran the ball pretty well. I thought their passing game was underwhelming. The Bengals run game, not so much. I thought they had a couple runs, but Mixon was mostly shut down. Chase had a couple nice runs, but for the most part, you can find a lot of run games that can give you more than 3.3 yards per carry on the Raiders. For the Bengals receivers, Jamar Chase, 9 for 116. He is, I think, maybe the best receiver in football this year. I think he's been that good. I think, he's probably not the best just because he got Cooper Kupp and you have Devontae Adams and Justin Jefferson. There's a lot of very good receivers, but he just makes such an impact on the game. He's such a great deep threat. He has really improved his hands. He can get separation. He's a better route runner than you think. He's makes such an impact to the game as we get Lenny in here. What's up, Lenny?
Hello, hola.
Lenny,
¿Cómo
we met
está?
you. You made it just in time for me to recap the Raiders game, right?
My favorite game. I had a fun time with the game.
All right, so I was just talking about Jamar Chase. So can I get some of your thoughts here?
I think I'm okay. I just think I'm okay. After everything that happened this season, when we were down 10 points in the fourth quarter, I literally wasn't even like worried if they were going to score or not. I was just at peace with myself. I was
You're
just
at
like,
peace with the season.
whatever needs to happen just is going to happen, and that's the end of the story. I don't really care at this point. My brother was freaking out. He was like, "No, my God, we're down 10 points. We got to score on the next drive." And I'm like, "I don't care, bro. I'm good."
What are your thoughts on Jamar Chase?
Wait, I can't hear you for some reason.
Lenny, can you hear me now?
Oh, now we're good. Okay, we're good. We're
What are
good
your
now.
thoughts on Jamar Chase?
Fudge. Casey Hayward did a really good job against him whenever he was on him. It's just the Bengals did a really good job of putting Jamar Chase in situations where he wasn't against Hayward or Hobbs. He was usually on Faison or Desmond Trufant. I thought
Come God.
Zach Taylor came in with a pretty good game plan. I thought they attacked our weaknesses in a really good way. Like they got Uzamo or whatever his name is, the tight end involved, and
Uzoma.
yeah, and I thought that was a very good. That's what you need to do against the Raiders. Target the
I also said
linebackers.
before, cheap plug to watch BLV versus consensus, but I said Joe Mixon over 18.5 receiving
It
yards.
was a lock.
He
He
had
did it in
28
like the
receiving
first
yards.
quarter.
He did it on his first catch. So, yeah, I
Oh
thought
man.
Taylor called a really good game.
I thought he was a little conservative at the end there when the Raiders were about to get the ball back. I thought if you're in this spot, I do not want any situation where Derek Carr gets the ball back because you saw what was about to happen. Derek Carr was about to do what Derek Carr does. He was about to get they just ran it up the middle 3 times basically, and I mean they did the toss play. They didn't. They had that reverse with what was it, Jamar Chase. I
Right.
thought they were going to pass, though. I thought they were going to play action it and see if they can get.
I mean, credit to Gus Bradley. He seemed to expect what they were going to do in the last drive.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone in the building knew they were going to try to run the ball in the first play, the first 2 plays. I wasn't sure how they were going to do it, but I knew they were going to run the ball. Max Crosby played like Max Crosby. Was a little disappointed by
Lonnie, I
Yannick
don't know.
Ngakoue.
I don't know if you would agree with me or not, but I felt like the Raiders threw the ball 54 times. They ran it 14 times. I thought Josh Jacobs had a pretty good game. He had 6.4 yards per
I
carry.
was a
I feel like
little
you guys should have
annoyed.
ran the ball more.
I was a little annoyed, but then I remembered that we're playing Joe Burrow, and we kind of just have to keep the gas pedal. We just have to keep. The way I thought about it was, sure, you can keep running it with Josh Jacobs, and you're going to get a consistent yardage out of him. But at the same time, I'm like, the more plays we run, like more running plays, like we're already like costing ourselves a lot in this game. Like I think the reason that we lost the game was just they made less mistakes than we did, and I mean that's it. It came down to that last drive, and anyways, what I was gonna say is if we kept running run plays, then there were gonna be more downs on the field where the Raiders offense was on the field. And the Raiders offense just kept making mistakes with that crazy crowd and whatever. I just thought it was a fine idea just to keep passing the ball, especially when Derek Carr was having a good day. I wasn't annoyed at it. I was a little annoyed at it.
I don't
But
think Carr had his best game today, even excluding the interception. I didn't think it was bad, but it was kind of, I thought, a bit clear like what an elite quarterback is and what a very good quarterback is. And I don't think
that's funny you say that because I was thinking about that idea during the game. So I was watching, Derek Carr, and I'm like, I think the reason that people don't like Derek Carr is because he just isn't elite, I guess. Since 2016, everyone thought that year that Derek Carr was the next big thing, like he was going to be that guy.
Right.
And then it just turned out he was just a pretty good quarterback. Like I'm not nothing against Derek Carr. I love Derek Carr.
Right.
But
No, we
that
both
stigma's
do.
always existed ever since the 2017 season that he's just not that guy. And, it's not bad to just be a good quarterback, but
No,
he's never going to be that elite guy that he was in 2016. And
I
I
think
guess
Joe
that's the
Burrow has
stigma.
kind of become that.
Joe Burrow is what people thought Derek Carr was going to be in 2017.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on the Raiders' defense?
I
I didn't
thought
think they were
it.
terrible, but I felt like their pass rush could have dominated much more than they did.
I think they did a good job at chipping Max Crosby and giving attention to Max Crosby at all times. Like I said, Zach Taylor had a very good game plan going into this game. They knew exactly what the Raiders were going to do. The Raiders knew exactly what they were going to do, and they made sure they knew how to stop what they did best, and that was rushing the passer with Crosby, and they just let everyone else have one-on-ones basically. And when Crosby isn't going 100%, I mean, you saw what happened. Like Crosby had
Right.
his splash plays for sure, but they were making sure not to just not don't let Crosby do anything. Basically, the sack he had was off that stunt with Corey Littleton. I don't know if you saw that. That was a really good drawn up play by Rod Marinelli, our defensive line coach. But I don't know. I thought the pass rush was fine. I said before the game that the Raiders pass rush was really
Was
going to have
that
to get
early
after
in the
Burrow.
game? I don't exactly
That
remember.
was in like the third quarter, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
That was when they were about to get up like another touchdown.
Yeah.
And
So
we needed a field
what
goal.
happened? I was at the Georgia parade, and that kind of I was there. So like when I was driving back, the game had already started, so I missed part of the start of the game. So I got back in it. The Bengals were up, and I was like, "Oh God!" And I mean, credit to the Raiders; they kept them in it. But ultimately, the Bengals just made a few more plays. I felt like
It
the
was the
Raiders had
mistakes,
chances to
man.
win, but they just couldn't.
It was the mistakes. I do agree that we had more chances to win than I like to say, but we wouldn't be like I say this a lot with teams in general. Like when you complain about ref ball, because people were complaining about the thing with
No,
Tyler
no,
Boyd.
and that's fair. That's fair.
I don't think it's fair. I really don't. I don't think it's fair because the way you win football games, I know it's the playoffs
No,
and I
no,
know
no,
it's
no.
hard, but
What I'll say is I think it's fair to question the call. I think it's unfair to say that's what won them the game.
okay, that's fair. Uh, Personally, as a football fan, I think that play should have stood anyway. As in, like, if I was an outsider's perspective and I watched that play, hell yeah, that was a touchdown. Joe Burrow prolonged the play. He got it in the end zone. I don't really care that he blew the whistle because it's like that should have been a touchdown. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the way I think about it. So, okay, what I was trying to say, my original point was we put ourselves in a situation where we needed Derek Carr to come and clutch for us. And we did that. We've done that all season. And this was just the game where it just wasn't good enough this time. And I'm not like mad about it.
Eventually, on one of these drives, he wasn't going to do it.
Exactly. He did it every single time. I watched him for the most
Right
part.
from the first game of the year to the last game of the season.
I mean, live by the sword, die by the sword. So yeah, I mean, I was just very happy to watch the Raiders one more time this year, even if we lost. I came in with the mindset we had a good chance of winning, but uh, you know, you lose the games you're supposed to lose, and we weren't supposed to win this game just because all the freaking mistakes we made. It was terrible. But
All right,
I'm
so
happy.
I'm gonna before I get your thoughts on the other game, I'm gonna quickly ask you, how far do you think the Bengals have a shot? Assuming they play Tennessee, which,
If they beat
barring a
the
miracle,
Titans,
the
which is a
Kansas City
very
Chiefs are gonna
interesting
beat the
matchup.
Steelers. Do you think the Bengals have a shot at Tennessee?
If they beat the Titans, I'll say this: if they beat the Titans, I don't know if there's a team that can stop them. Like just in momentum wise, like that's huge, man. Having a quarterback like Joe Burrow, having a just offensive explosion like they do, that would be huge. But Do I think they have a chance to get the Titans? It's tough to say because, number one, I don't know how good Derrick Henry's going to be. But if Derrick Henry's as good as at least Josh Jacobs was in this game, I don't know if the Bengals really have that good of a shot. I think on offense, the Bengals, just first thoughts. I haven't really thought about this until
No, no,
the
no.
game.
I'm just kind of getting your general 2 cents.
For the Bengals on offense, I think they match up well against their defense. Their front seven is going to cause some problems for the Bengals, but the vertical game should be there for the Bengals because they showed me, at least in this game, they can handle some pass rush, even if it wasn't a great pass rush. It was still okay. I mean, they got
No,
after him.
the Raiders got some pressure.
Yeah, they got pressure. They got him when they needed to. It just wasn't as relentless, I guess, as the Chargers game. But I think they'll do a good job on offense. But on defense for the Bengals, I'm very concerned. Derrick Henry versus those linebackers in that run defense, that's going to keep Joe Burrow off the field, number one. Number two, Bengals coming off a huge win like that. I don't know how much, I don't know how, mature this team is. Mitch talked about that throughout the season. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to come to practice and be like, okay, guys, let's hammer out what we did wrong. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. And I don't know. I just don't think they match up well against the Titans at all on defense. It's just a bad matchup. Physical receivers have not been great I've been really good against the Bengals, and
AJ Brown
is going to do what he did to the Niners. And Joe Burrow's just going to have to be crazy again. He's just going to have one of these games.
I think
I don't know.
You can't rule out a quarterback like Joe Burrow, I think, in any game.
No, you can't.
But
yeah,
it is on paper, it's not a great matchup for the Bengals.
I would much rather play the Chiefs again if I'm the Bengals. I know they're not going to because that's just how it is. There's literally zero chance they play them. But if I'm just looking at it, I'd probably rather play the Chiefs, right?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you beat the Chiefs, so you
did it already.
So, and I think the Chiefs' defense is probably worse than Tennessee's, just in my opinion.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm looking at someone's window right now. My neighbor, they're playing Fortnite. It's like a couple I don't know. It's far away. I just looked out in this giant TV and this upper story is just freaking playing Fortnite. It's funny. Sorry.
All right, so Lenny, I know you've been a big Pats guy all year. What were your thoughts on the absolute splattering, as Josh Payton would say, that took place in Buffalo tonight?
I am going to hold this L, and I'm going to take this L. I was hammering for the Patriots all year. Even when the writing was on the wall, I just stuck. I went down with like Titanic, and I just kept going. I was like, Patriots to the Super Bowl. And, well, that didn't happen. to say the least, that didn't happen. The Patriots' problems, you laid it out before. They can't stop the run. Josh Allen had a field day. Freaking Devin Singletary also had a field day. Basically, their defense got exposed, and the Patriots showed all year. I mean, in hindsight, for me at least, they showed all year as soon as that defense gets pushed around, they don't really have an answer. So, it just got out of hand really fast. I'm not sure. I don't even know if Belichick game planned for this game. It felt like he probably asked Matt Patricia, "Hey, just do the game plan tonight. I don't feel like doing it this week."
He definitely got out coached tonight.
Oh, that's not even a question. Are you kidding me?
And look, on the other side of the field, I mean, we've known Buffalo's had all the talent. It's never been a talent issue.
No, never.
But this is what happens, man. And it's another thing. It's something called a complete game. Sometimes teams this talented, when they have a complete game, are just impossible to beat. And there wasn't a football team in America that was going to beat the Buffalo Bills the way they played tonight. Not saying they'll play like that every week.
I don't even know if the 2007 Patriots would have been able to beat this team.
Yeah, I mean, they threw the ball, they ran the ball, they stopped the run, they stopped the pass, they got pressure, they didn't allow pressure. They outcoached the team. Like they had good special teams. What did they not do?
They didn't throw an interception. They didn't fumble. They didn't cause any turnovers. I mean,
Lenny, Josh Allen threw more touchdowns than he did incompletion.
I know they were 6 for 6 on third down. That was quite literally the most complete offensive game ever, which that's a little concerning. Just in terms of how is this rep? How can you repeat this? And if it's
now, to be fair,
sustainable, I don't know.
They didn't need. I don't think they needed to do this to beat New England.
They didn't.
But
do this.
maybe
I
they
just
probably
don't know.
maybe they should have saved one of these games for a bit down the line. You know,
the Bills are like they're weird right now for me.
They're so talented
like,
that you can't just.
I don't know what their floor is, and we saw their ceiling, but I don't
their
know
ceiling is the best team in the league. Their floor is
know.
like the 13th best team in the league.
I don't know. It's just weird because I don't know if this is repeatable at all. Not this specifically, this game, just like the success they were having in general. I don't know.
And thoughts on Mitch?
Oh man, I would make Patriots line view again if I just didn't care really about this game. I guess for the Patriots, it's like, well, whatever. You know, we got next year. I think they have a little bit of cap space. I don't think they're drowning.
They got to address the receiver. I said this on the Lay Down podcast a couple weeks ago. They got to address receiver. They got to add a couple run defenders. If they can do that, I think they're like a legit team. But
if Mac Jones takes the next step,
and Mac Jones got to take a step up. I told you, there's something about him in cold weather, man. There's something like there's something about him in cold weather. But yeah, Mitch I didn't see much of Mitch's stream. How did
he was so
how
sad.
Did he look?
It was so sad, dude. I could just see the pain in his eyes. It was sad.
So, like how when did it start? Like take me through.
I think it started like when they got up to 28. I think it was. I think that's when he really just knew it was over.
I thought it was over I thought it was over when it got to 14.
Yeah, no, but he was so optimistic, like, oh, we'll just get another turnover or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then he's just like, and then he just shut down. It was sad. It was like he had a light switch, you know, like a switch in his.
There was still like this slimmer
hope
that they could make it close. But once that fourth touchdown came in, it was like slam.
It was like, right? Oh, okay, that's game. It's the game.
Do you think the Raiders would have beaten the Patriots tonight?
It's interesting because I think the Patriots match up weird. It's weird because they played last year and it wasn't that close. Even it was kind of close. It was kind of.
It was a weird game. Like I felt like
weird game.
The Raiders were winning for a while, and then like the dam broke, and New England pulled away.
The Raiders match up not great with the Patriots on offense. Derek Carr really had one of his worst games I've seen from him for a while in that Patriots game. Like even just this year and
other than last year's Falcons game, it wasn't
great. It wasn't really just not a good game. And the reason that happened was that they just got rid of Darren Waller and they made sure Hunter Renfrow was accounted for, and there really wasn't an answer past that. But I think they probably had a chance. I mean, you can't not watch that game and be like, yeah, Raiders would have not won that game. There's zero chance they would have. You can't do that, bro. That was terrible. Any team would have beaten the Patriots that night, though. I don't know. It just feels like that.
So
they played bad.
Lenny, how do you see the Bills moving forward before I end it off here? Because it's very.
I think if they just play 3/4 of the way they did in this game, they're probably going to the Super Bowl. Which I know it doesn't sound like that much, but like they are
the way they. I don't think people understand the efficiency to which they played at a historical level.
I think people do. I don't know. I saw on Twitter. It looks like people understand.
Yeah, it's on Twitter. It's true.
It's just like I don't know if the Josh Allen dam is gonna break. That's probably my only thing. I'm just like, I don't know. We're gonna have to see, because if Josh Allen breaks, this team is done. Like, it's over. It's over.
I don't know,
wanna
man.
hear
I
it.
mean, the defense kept them. The defense completely shut New England down until the game was done.
So did the Jaguars game. They scored 9 points.
That's true. No, the thing is, in defensive games, like anything can happen, right? That's
Yeah.
why the higher scoring a game goes, the more likely it is the better team's gonna win. And I think that's kind of how I felt with Bengals Raiders. I actually thought the Raiders had a chance because they kept it below that 30 mark. But once it looked like the Bengals would score up to that and above that, I kind of thought the game was done. Yeah, I would agree. I think the Bills certainly have the talent to get there. It's odd matchups because I'm sorry about that. But it's odd matchups because I think Tennessee is a weird matchup. I think Kansas City is a weird matchup. They're not going to
It's
play Pittsburgh.
definitely not one-sided either way with any of these teams
No.
moving forward in the AFC. We're just assuming the Steelers are going to lose because everyone in the
I mean,
mother's
I think every single person, even Steelers fans, are assuming they're going to lose.
Yeah. Even Big Ben thinks they're going to lose, which is hilarious.
Ben's just out here like, yeah, let's just have some fun.
This is his retirement
I hope
party.
the Steelers make it close.
This
though.
is Big Ben Appreciation Day. Patrick Mahomes is going to go out there with like a present. You know, they're going to get like those
I do hope the Steelers make it close.
I want that. I don't think it's going to happen.
All right, I'm gonna try to avoid the Steelers Chiefs game because I know your brain shut down the last time we talked about
I'm
it.
sorry. I don't even know what happened. I don't even know, bro.
You're talking about dollar bills and like
$10,000 bills, bro.
after that. All right, Lenny. Quick thoughts. You've got the game tomorrow. Just give me some final thoughts.
Niners Cowboys.
Yep.
We got to be able to attack their secondary, limit the turnovers from Trayvon Diggs. Just don't let Jimmy Garoppolo do anything important.
Do you think Trey Lance should play?
No, I do not think Trey Lance should play. That is on offense. That's the keys to the game. Run game is going to be there. They don't have a great run defense. On their offense for Cowboys, we have to make sure that they don't make big plays. I guess that would be like limit the big plays from them. Make sure that we have to try to get turnovers because whoever wins the turnover battle in this game, I think, is going to win.
Dallas has won the turnover battle because they have had so many Diggs interceptions.
Exactly. It's tough for me to say that. Like now, it's tough for me to think the Niners going to win because I thought about it a little more. And
no, it's not. I think it's an even game. I think weirdly, I think Dallas probably has the stronger overall roster, but
there's the key matchups.
I feel like there's
aren't great.
I feel like you have the coaching edge. I feel like you have the identity edge, and I feel like you have some of the matchup edges. So
it's just who's going to take advantage of the disadvantages of the other team. Like this game, the Raiders game, it just totally, like in my opinion, it totally came down to one team executed at 100% or close to it, and the other team didn't perform close to 100%. It was just a game of execution. The Raiders just didn't do it. It might just be the same thing with the Niners, but I trust in the Niners team, just talent-wise, to be able to do that. I guess a lot more than the Raiders. It really just comes down to Jimmy Garoppolo in the corners, honestly. That's the key to success. Those things need to just not be terrible, and I think we probably win.
All right, Lenny, man. Thanks for joining. Sorry about your loss. Hope the Niners can.
Bro, I'm not even mad about it. I was totally happy.
Hope the Niners can pull through tomorrow. And again, thanks for joining. So, yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this recap. Just a quick one because it's late at night. But congrats to Bengals fans. Congrats to Bills fans. Good luck for the rest of the playoffs. And that's it.